The Three Houses banner is finally here a couple days ahead of the actual game's release. I'm so excited. In this video we'll cover the stats, skills, and build ideas and playstyles for Edelgard, Dimitri, Claude, and Female Byleth. We also have details about Male Byleth, who is not on this banner but is on this month's Mythic Hero banner. Since purchasers of Three Houses can get their hands on a free promotional Male Byleth, I actually want to talk about him as well since he is similar to his female counterpart. If you get this promo Byleth, then maybe you won't need to chase after Female Byleth unless of course you want her. Now let's get started. Up first is the leader of the Black Eagles, Edelgard. She is an infantry axe unit, and it's always exciting to see an axe lord in Fire Emblem. Edelgard has 41 HP, 39 attack, 30 speed, 37 defense, and 21 resistance. Her 39 attack is massive and is the second highest among all infantry units. Her 37 defense is only 2 points behind the highest for infantry, and it's pretty clear Edelgard is ready to brawl with physical damage enemies. 30 speed is maybe a little below average these days, but it still can be useful. Her HP and res stats are okay, but nothing amazing. For old skills, Edelgard comes with Luna as her special. I feel like you might as well go with Bonfire with her high base defense though. Her A skill is attack and defense solo. When not adjacent to another ally, she gets +6 attack and defense, and that is obviously just amazing since those are her best stats. Her B skill is though close, not a bad skill, especially since buffs are very common, but it can definitely be traded out for something else. Now for her weapon, Edelgard has the Victorious Axe, and it's a pretty darn good weapon. It's a 16 might axe that accelerates special trigger. On top of that, if the number of foes within 2 spaces of Edelgard, excluding her target, is greater than or equal to the number of allies within 2 spaces, excluding Edelgard herself, then she gets a guaranteed follow-up attack. This is the exact same effect as Legendary Ephraim's Flame Sigma, and it's a very powerful ability should Edelgard find herself deep in enemy territory. Unless you have Edelgard literally off on her own, you will need to make aggressive moves to ensure she isn't near too many allies. Solo attack and defense plus her own naturally high stats in both categories means Edelgard is going to be a monster physical damage fighter. To emphasize this even more, Edelgard's new C skill is Rouse Attack and Defense 3 at the start of the turn. If unit is not adjacent to an ally, grants +6 attack and defense for 1 turn. These new Rouse buffs appear to be very powerful, especially for infantry units since they don't have access to the Hone or Fortify emblem buffs. By the way, these skills are restricted to infantry and cavalry units, so keep that in mind. For Edelgard, the +6 to her 2 best stats is amazing, and it stacks with attack and defense solo. Adding +12 attack and defense to her 39 attack and 37 defense is disgusting, and again, if you can keep her on her own, she's going to be quite scary. Now for builds and playstyles, Edelgard can be a ton of fun. Her base kit works very well as long as she's staying solo. Victorious Axe opens up a lot of options, and it all starts with what special you give her. While Luna is good against other high defense units, Bonfire offers consistent damage, and Edelgard has great base defense already. You could go Ignis and use Heavy Blade to proc it in 1 round. She can also run the 5-turn specials Aether and Gale Force. With the slang effect on her weapon, both of them become 4-turn specials. If you want Edelgard to roam on her own, then Aether sounds like a good choice, and she may even want something like Renewal just to stay healthy. If you run Gale Force with Heavy Blade, Edelgard can be quite dangerous, and she can use Desperation since it uses any follow-up attack. Her Sacred Seals, besides Heavy Blade attack smoke, is great for solo type units. Her HP, res, and speed aren't exactly super amazing, so increasing her defenses is another good idea. In fact, while +12 attack and defense can be a lot of fun, a unit running by themselves maybe wants more resistance to tackle more magical damage threats too. Attack smoke, close defense, or even brazen attack and res could be useful. Overall, Edelgard can be very destructive in physical damage matchups, but her reliance on solo play can be difficult to always utilize. Compared to Legendary Ephraim, who has 3 movement, Edelgard will have less leeway to get into position. I think she's going to be strong, but she does have some clear weaknesses. Next up we have the house leader of the Blue Lions, Dimitri. I'm sad Dimitri arrives as a Lance Cavalier, but if that means his older self comes as an infantry lancer later on, then I'm totally fine with it. For stats, Dimitri has 40 HP, 36 attack, 29 speed, 34 defense, and 18 resistance. He is similar to Legendary Ephraim in more ways than one, with a solid attack and defense stats. Similar to Edelgard, Dimitri has average HP, slightly below average speed, and his weak stat being resistance. For old skills, Dimitri has Vengeance, which is pretty darn useless. You are much better off with anything else, although Draconic Aura would be a good choice. For his A skill, Dimitri has Death Blow 4, granting him +8 attack when initiating. Paired with his high attack stat already, it's a good skill. It also works amazingly well with his unique weapon, the Noble Lance. It's a 16 might lance that grants a flat +3 attack at the start of combat if both Dimitri's and his foe's HP equal 100%, or if both have less than 100% HP, then Dimitri gets a follow-up attack. Instead of positioning to get a double like Edelgard, Dimitri relies on playing the HP game. It's interesting, but can possibly be frustrating since both Dimitri and his enemy have to be in the same state. Either they must both be at full health, or they must have at least taken some damage. In a normal battle scenario where everyone starts off at full HP, Dimitri will do just fine and the Noble Lance will be incredibly good. It's just that after he takes any bit of damage, then you have to find a way to lower his next opponent's HP too. When we get to builds, we will look at what Dimitri can do by himself to make this happen. Overall, Noble Lance sounds a little bit funky, but it can at least be used offensively or defensively. Unlike Legendary Ephraim, Dimitri can sit back with his teammates and still get a double. For his second new skill, Dimitri has low attack and defense 3. This is a new B skill that inflicts -3 attack and defense on foe and neutralizes any bonuses to attack and defense on the same foe during combat. So these are neat new skills. Lola is going to be the first passive ability that can apply in combat debuffs. We don't see these too often, but a few weapons have this ability. Now below skills are restricted to again infantry and cavalry units. Kind of an odd choice, but okay. I think it's not a bad B skill since neutralizing stat buffs and then decreasing that stat is pretty strong. Dimitri has a ton of damage, so the enemy losing 3 more defense and not having defense buffs to back it up just helps him kill every last one of them. He will also be slightly tankier thanks to the attack debuff and buff nullification. I kind of like this ability since in combat buffs or debuffs cannot be stopped, so Dimitri will always benefit from it. Plus in combat debuffs can stack with regular debuffs and even panic stats. For builds and playstyles, I actually really like the combo of the Noble Lance and low attack and defense. I think they fit in on both offense and defensive builds. For full offense, using Death Blow 4, if we want to keep activating Noble Lance, even when Dimitri takes some counterattack damage, then he can use Savage Blow. If the enemy team is clumped up together, Savage Blow deals out the out of combat damage to all of them, and assuming Dimitri took any kind of damage in the first fight, he can keep the follow-up effect from Noble Lance. Now this is definitely not foolproof. If the enemy has any kind of healing, they just stop Dimitri's follow-ups. Also, if Dimitri hits someone who can't counter back or he just takes 0 damage, then you kind of screw yourself over by making everyone's HP under 100% while Dimitri's still at full health. You could run Fury to solve this issue, but I don't know if that's the best option. Maybe if you run it with Gale Force, Heavy Blade, and a Dancer, it would be okay, but I'm sure most people would just stick with Death Blow 4. Speaking of which, Gale Force and Heavy Blade is just emulating Legendary Ephraim, and it can definitely work out for Dimitri. If you want a change of pace, then Dimitri can still utilize Noble Lance for defensive tanking. He doesn't need quick repose for this, and low attack and defense is a fantastic substitute B skill. Pair it with a defensive A skill like Fortress Defense and Res plus Close Defense for his seal, and you got yourself a melee tank. Only issue is that you will want healing of some kind in the case Dimitri takes damage. Overall, I think Dimitri is a good Lance Cavalier. He can dish out some serious damage, but it's not like we haven't seen this type of playstyle before. Making sure he keeps Noble Lance activated is going to be your main challenge. Our third unit is Claude, the house leader of the Golden Deer. Claude is a colorless cavalry archer and he may give Brave Lynn a run for her money. His stats include 39 HP, 33 attack, 37 speed, 20 defense, and 21 resistance. He has 2 more speed than Brave Lynn, so offensively he can keep up with her. Brave Lynn will be better at fighting off magic damage though. Very impressive stat line, and Claude is here to play with some very tricky stat manipulation. For old skills, Claude has Glimmer, which may seem a bit odd since his attack isn't sky high, but actually it's a good special for him. His C skill is Defense Smoke, which lowers nearby foes' defense by -7 after a fight. For his weapon, Claude has the Cunning Bow, a 14-might bow that grants a flat +3 speed. He is starting off with 40 speed before any other skills. Its effect reads when total bonuses on Claude plus total penalties on foe is greater than or equal to 10, then inflict -5 to all stats during combat. Oh boy, so the more I look at this weapon, the more I like it. Basically, you just total up the amount of buffs on Claude and the amount of debuffs on his opponent. If it's more than 10, then the enemy loses -5 to all stats. I like this condition because it may seem difficult to activate, but all Claude needs is 2 + 6 field buffs and you're done. Cavalry has the easiest to get emblem buffs, and any one of those will instantly activate Cunning Bow for Claude. The only issue is if Claude faces someone who can neutralize field buffs. Even then, he still has a chance to proc Cunning Bow because of the enemy's debuffs. You may want to run Claude with debuffing characters in case this happens. And plus Cunning Bow's in combat debuffs will stack on top of those regular debuffs. This gets better because Claude also has low speed and defense. It's the same type of skill Dimitri has, and it affects speed and defense instead. Important to note that low speed and defense isn't doing anything to help activate Cunning Bow. You need the red numbered debuffs for that. However, with the stacking of debuffs, Claude can get up to -8 speed and defense on his opponent, and they cannot use buffs to cancel those out. It's a pretty nasty trap, and with how fast Claude is naturally, he will be doubling a lot of the time. With -8 defense, that's basically +8 extra damage per attack, and if you have a dancer, Claude can use his defense smoke debuff to almost double that for his next target. I really like how they gave Claude a build that doesn't look like much on the surface, but it's actually annoyingly strong with all the in-combat debuff stacking. For playstyles and builds, Claude definitely wants to ensure Cunning Bow is always active. Like we mentioned, some simple ally buffs can do the trick, and you just need one Hone or Fortified Cavalry. Double tactic buffs are great too, or you can run 2 even wave buffs, and that gets you +12 bonuses every other turn. If you can buff Claude up, then he can use his defense smoke and then attack smoke as a seal to apply -14 total penalties. That activates Cunning Bow, and the -5 attack debuff from that will stack with the -7 attack smoke debuff, making Claude quite tanky. With the defense debuffs, a Glimmer proc will also be doing more effective damage because Claude will do more base damage. With his A skill open, you could try out a Brazen skill to continue the sneaky playstyle, or the usual Fury or Swift Sparrow works fine. For something weird, I think maybe Claude can try out Heavy Blade. His weapon applies that -5 attack debuff, and if he were to have Dimitri's low attack and defense, then that's another -3 attack and no attack buffs for the enemy. Could be fun for activating things like Astra or 1-round Lunas. I've seen some talk about close counter as well, and ideally you are stacking attack debuffs plus giving Claude defense and res buffs because he's not super tanky naturally. I think it could work, but don't quote me on that one. As for allies, Claude could absolutely love to work with a dagger unit. Their natural -7 defense and res debuff on their weapons would instantly activate Cunning Bow, and then the effects would stack with the -5 in combat debuff from his weapon. If you are running Horse Emblem, then a team of Harid, Gunther, and New Year's Levantine and Claude would be nasty. Chill debuffs everywhere. While I wasn't super impressed with Claude's kit at first, it just got more interesting as I thought about it. He is playing a very annoying game of stat buffs and debuffs, which is interesting since they combo off each other so well. You definitely don't want to sleep on our charming Golden Deer leader. This has been a pretty fun banner so far, and we haven't even gotten to Male Byleth yet, the new main character of 3 houses, and she is an infantry sword unit. It's a very crowded group of units, but Byleth is definitely making sure she has a place. Her stats include 40 HP, 33 attack, 40 speed, 33 defense, and 21 resistance. 33 attack and 40 base speed is very good, definitely keeping up with the other quick Myrmidons. 40 HP and 33 defense is alright as well, and while 21 res isn't anything special, she won't kill over to a mage. Now for old skills, Byleth is a dream fodder unit. Fury 4 is now in the permanent pool, and it pairs well with Wrath because if you're going to hurt yourself after every fight, you might as well get something out of it. With even attack wave boosting her damage, Female Byleth is looking very strong and is ready to take some fools to school. So if you haven't heard, Byleth's creator's sword is kind of insane. It has 16 might and accelerates special trigger, so that's nice. It then goes on to disable or neutralize 4 other abilities. It disables skills that guarantee a follow-up for the foe. It disables skills that prevent fallouts for Byleth. It neutralizes skills that grant special cooldown charge plus X to full, and it neutralizes skills that inflict special cooldown charge minus X to Byleth. Oh man, so what a weapon. So those first 2 lines are basically what no follow-up does. The last 2 lines are brand new, essentially canceling any increased special charging skills. This is insane because Creator's Sword completely shuts down all of the armor only fighter skills. Bold Fighter loses its follow-up and increased special charge. Special Fighter can't increase the armor unit's special charge, nor can it stop Byleth from charging her special. Oh yeah, it basically nullifies the guard skill as well, so as far as I can tell, Byleth will always be charging special. This is such a crazy weapon because it stops a lot of powerful abilities in their tracks. Byleth also introduces a new inheritable special called Ruptured Sky. It's a 2 cooldown special and it boosts damage by 20% of the foe's attack. Okay, so that's a bit weird. If the foe is a dragon or beast unit, then it boosts damage by 40% of their attack instead. It's like a weird backwards Draconic Aura or Dragon Fang. Like I said, since it has inheritance restrictions, I assume it's inheritable. Only ones who can't use it are dragons, beasts, and healers, like always. I've listed some example values just to showcase how much damage this special does. If the enemy has 40 attack, it will do 8 damage. 50 attack will do 10 damage, and 60 attack will do 12 damage. This is about comparable to Moonbow, I would say, but without using it, I can't be certain if it's much better or worse. Now, if you use it on a dragon or beast unit, then Ruptured Sky is very strong. It doubles its damage essentially, so a 50 attack dragon would give Byleth 20 extra damage. With only 2 cooldown, that's pretty darn good, and obviously this is going to be a good special if you have someone dedicated to killing dragons or beast units. Now before we move on, I do want to talk about Male Byleth. We got his stats and skills, and since you can get a free copy of him if you buy 3 houses, seeing what he has may change your mind about summoning Female Byleth. For stats, Male Byleth has 40 HP, 36 attack, 38 speed, 34 defense, and 21 resistance. Very close stats to Female Byleth, trading some speed for more attack. Male Byleth keeps the same creative sword and Ruptured Sky special as Female Byleth, which makes me very happy. Then he has 3 different passive skills. Male Byleth has Distant Counter, which I'm sure got a lot of people's attention. He also has Chill Speed and Odd Speed Wave, both solid skills. I find it funny that Female Byleth has the whip version of her sword in the art, but Male Byleth is the one with Distant Counter. We did also find out that Male Byleth will be summonable via this month's Mythic Hero banner. He should take up a red spot and is not the new Mythic Hero. Both Male and Female Byleth are pretty nice units. To me, the most important thing is that Male Byleth has the same sword, so I'm not worried about getting Female Byleth since I'm buying 3 houses. Still, she has some good synergy with her base kit, and let's talk about that right now. Female Byleth has a great setup with Fury and Wrath. Creator Sword makes Ruptured Sky a 1 cooldown special. Fury drops Byleth's HP into Wrath range, and not only does that get her extra damage, but it would then recharge Ruptured Sky every player phase. That means Byleth can start determine her special ready, and if she is fighting dragons or beast units, then that is a lot of upfront damage. Unfortunately, she's going to end up killing herself pretty quickly with Fury 4. I run Fury and Wrath on my Nephany, and Attack Smoke can help her survive multiple back-to-back fights. Unless you bring a healer, you have to accept that this is a build that only fights a couple of times. If you want something more sturdy, then I think Byleth can opt for defensive options. Since Creator Sword blocks any increase in special charging skills, with Guard, you will deny their special from charging at all. I think this will be an annoying thing to face since Byleth can abuse her own special charging skills like Steady Breath. She can proc Aether in 1 round should she double, or you can retaliate instantly with 3-turn specials like Luna or Soul. To me, being able to just stop specials and follow-ups is what makes Byleth good, and when she can abuse those things herself, it makes a very big mismatch. Guard Byleth is not something I would look forward to fighting. Considering that a lot of people will get a free Male Byleth soon, you definitely want to make sure you have a blue unit that can just fight them off without relying on specials or guaranteed follow-up effects. That wraps up this banner breakdown. Normally I would show our next reward unit here, but since it's a character from 3 houses that isn't a student or someone shown often, I'll just leave a silhouette for now. Her name is Kronya, and I'm pretty sure she has been in the trailers. Her Grand Hero battle doesn't start until August, so it's a bit away, and plus the game's not out yet, so I really don't know how much about her anyway. We have the Mythic banner coming up in about a week, so if you don't have a lot of orbs, you can wait to see what that holds for us. Next banner is also another new heroes banner as well, so I'm guessing there's a decent chance for it to be 3 houses again. Maybe not, we'll have to see. I'm excited to play the actual game, and it's awesome to see our new characters in Fae. I'll be trying my best to get all the house leaders this time. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next video.